Moody's downgrades the U.S. credit to negative as the government budget hangs in the balance next week. Today is November the 11th, and you are listening to the Arbitrage Weekend News. Hi, I'm your host, Darin Harper, bringing you 3 things you need to know for this weekend, 2 interviews that include oily drinks and commercial to condominiums, 2 blogs including a short story by Daniel, and a bonus blog on a possible internet apocalypse in 2024. Also, check out the winner and loser this week in the market. S&P finishes above 4,400, NASDAQ almost 13,800, 10-year moves up over $4.65, WTI crude further down to $77.35. Here's 3 things. Blame it on the ransomware? There was a ransomware attack on the U.S. subsidiary of the ICBC, or Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. The fallout includes blaming it for the lack of liquidity of the U.S. Treasuries on Thursday. ICBC is the world's largest lender by assets. China holds about $805.4 billion worth of Treasury securities as of August, only second after Japan. Investigations are ongoing to find the truth. Envelopes of fentanyl. In at least 5 states, there have been reports of envelopes containing trace amounts of fentanyl sent into election offices. Investigators say more than a dozen letters were sent from the Pacific Northwest to offices in California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and Georgia. The bigs for next week. Here are the newsworthy financial reports for next week. On Monday, crude oil inventories. Tuesday brings us U.S. core CPIs and Japan's GDP. Wednesday is the UK CPIs, U.S. core retail and retail sales, U.S. core PPI, and crude inventory report. Thursday is initial job claims and Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. Lastly, Friday, the EU CPI and the U.S. building permits. Trade while you're sleeping across time zones with Arbitrage Trade Assist. Sign up today at arbitragetrade.com. Arbitrage Trade is your trusted source for business, finance, and tech info.
Teen depression. A lot of kids are dealing with it today. So, what's behind it? Well, there's the question. Are they depressed because they have bad grades? Or do they have bad grades because they're depressed? A relationship goes bad. Getting bullied. Maybe there's more than one reason. Maybe there's no reason at all. Whatever's behind it, teen depression can be overwhelming and isolating. But it doesn't have to stay that way. If you're feeling off your game right now, it's time to jumpstart your comeback. Time to take charge and take the first step. Visit yourlifeyourvoice.org. You have the strength to turn things around. Make your move.
Hello, Caroline.
Good morning, Royce.
How are you doing today?
Doing well.
So we've made it past Halloween. What are we going to talk about in November?
Well, today we're going to be talking about the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has a proposed ban on, it's called brominated vegetable oils, BVOs.
Okay, that's a new one. Okay, that's something I've never even heard of. All right, so enlighten me. What is brominated vegetable oil?
It is a food ingredient. It was once widely used in popular drinks, especially with citrus things like Gatorades and Mountain Dew.
Okay.
It would help emulsify so that the citrus wouldn't separate.
Oh, okay.
So that was its primary purpose. And this is like back in the 70s. They've been using it for a while.
Wow. Okay.
But
so why now suddenly it's scandalous?
Right. Well, the European Union, India, and Japan have already banned it.
Oh, okay.
And in 2014, so 9 years ago, Coca-Cola and Pepsi said they would remove it from their products.
Okay.
So they can still be found in some grocery store brands like Great Value from Walmart. Some of their brands still use it, and some popular regional beverages such as Sundrop.
Okay.
I haven't seen that here.
I haven't seen that here in Memphis. No. So okay.
Another example. So while Mountain Dew no longer uses the BVOs in their main line, the original formula, which still contained it, is sometimes sold as the throwback beverage.
Oh, okay.
So it'll still sometimes show up in that.
Okay.
So this BVO contains bromine, an element found in flame retardants, and it has been linked to potential health risks.
Interesting.
Okay, so it can, doesn't always, but it can leave residue in body fat and some fat in like the brain and liver and some other organs.
Okay.
And it has also been linked to being an endocrine disruptor, so it can affect the thyroid.
Oh, that's not good.
So it's not
mood and everything.
Right.
Ooh.
So it's not a super strong link, but it's enough there that the FDA has decided they're now proposing this.
And you
ban.
said bromide?
Bromine.
Isn't that also found in pineapple? I thought.
I am not sure.
Huh. I'm gonna have to go look that up.
I am not sure. But California last month, California's Governor Gavin Newsom signed the California Food Safety Act, banning food additives, BVOs, as well as 3 others. So California is now the first state to have banned something that the FDA has not yet banned.
Oh, wow. All right. That's progressive.
Right. So New York is also considering banning this, but the FDA has started the process. They don't have a final decision yet.
Okay.
So the FDA is taking comments and concerns from consumers through January.
Okay. And what's the worst case? So basically, you either become really lethargic, you become really excited.
I read something about it. It didn't make it into the blog article, but you can get too much of this built up in your system. Okay. If the hospitals know what it is, they can work to reverse it, but you do have to be treated for it.
Okay. So it is something that we have to treat for. Okay.
Right. And because it's stored in fat, it takes longer to get out of your system.
We're not fat. Our BMI is like 5%, 2%, right?
Speak for yourself. Mine's not.
Well,
I've got more than that.
Yeah, so we all do. We all do.
If you have any questions,
especially
comments,
after Halloween,
right? Candy is still in the kitchen,
right?
So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, get in touch with the FDA through January, and then they'll go through a review process. But you can always check. I found several ingredient labels as examples that listed BVO as an ingredient, so you can always do your own research.
Cool. And you can also find out more about this on our blog at www.arbitragetrade.com/blog. Thank you, Caroline, for joining us.
Thanks, Royce.
Hi, I'm EJ Williams for American Humane. For thousands of years, dogs have been our best friends in our worst times. Today, we're also learning that our best friends, millions of whom are abandoned each year, are often the best medicine when people are facing obstacles. To help both people and animals, organizations like American Humane have been working to harness the healing power of the human-animal bond, finding animals in need of forever homes and training them as life-saving service and therapy dogs to help our veterans, the elderly, and children overcome the daily obstacles of life. In this way, the rescued can become the rescuers. To find out how you can help give animals and the people they help a new leash on life, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
It's the winner and the loser this week in the stock market. The loser is Plug Power Incorporated, that's PLUG. They build an end-to-end green hydrogen ecosystem, including liquid green hydrogen production, storage and handling, transportation, and dispensing infrastructure. Shares dove over 50% down after another disappointing earnings report. The liquid hydrogen market is struggling to be a valid battery option. PLUG started the week at $6.62 and ran all the way down to $3.53 on Friday at close. And the winner, Blue Green Vacations Holding Corporation, or BVH. They are a vacation ownership company. This company markets and sells vacation ownership interest, manages resorts and leisure and urban destinations including Orlando, Las Vegas, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, and New Orleans. BVH closed last Friday at $35.52 and ended this Friday at a whopping $73.56.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Rome. I've played many roles in television and film, but today I'm speaking as myself about a cause that's very dear to my heart. The Cancer Prevention and Treatment Fund provides free help to those who have cancer and those who wish to prevent it. They've also banned cancer-causing chemicals from our homes and neighborhoods. Your donation makes a difference because 98 cents of every dollar pays for programs and services, not fancy salaries or events. As a mom, I'm thankful that they've helped ban cancer-causing chemicals from our toddler toys and baby bottles. They continue to fight the same fight to keep these chemicals out of our playgrounds, pizza, and soda cans. Please donate today to the Cancer Prevention and Treatment Fund at stopcancerfund.com.
right, Darin. I hear people are stealing my thunder talking about barndominiums. What? What is going on?
Talking about living spaces. There's not enough out there, right?
Not currently. Well, it depends on your view. I think in China they made a whole bunch of empty cities, and no one lives there. But hey, they're built.
I'm not ready to go live over there.
And all this work from home from COVID. What are all these people going to do with all this corporate space?
Yes. Convert them. How about convert them?
Convert them to what? Malls?
Convert them to living spaces.
Okay.
Commercial spaces to living spaces.
Sweet.
I mean, they're going to be like cheap.
That works in New York.
What, pennies on the dollar now?
Yeah. Hey, that should actually raise the supply of rent, or renters, which should make the prices of rent
go down. I hope, because I rent. Yes.
Oh, yes. Because basically supply and demand curve. I think just in the city of Memphis, rent's up about 44%.
Thank you. I feel that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I have a raise?
You can take the elevator up one floor if that's what you need. Go for it.
Just live here. Just live here.
Right?
Hey, Elon did it, right?
Hey, exactly. Sell everything. Sell everything.
You know, this all reminds me of what, Crosstown Concourse here locally?
Yes.
That's exactly what I think about.
It turned out pretty well too. I would love to see International Paper turn their place into condos, or half of Clark Tower. I think it's about 50% occupancy. The other half could be, residents.
True. Just walk downstairs and work.
Yeah. And I know in real estate, basically, post-COVID, a lot of these businesses have leases that are basically coming back up that they either have to pony up or get out.
Economy is all about due dates, whether it be bonds or rent or okay, it's time to pay. Somebody's going to pay.
Someone's going to pay. And basically they're like, if you have no one there and if people aren't working in the buildings, why do the companies need them?
That's correct.
And so they're having to evolve to, I guess, survive this economy.
Well, there's something being built in Saudi Arabia, right? It's supposed to be like a city that's built all together. And that's kind of what these things do, like Crosstown Concourse. You have your restaurants downstairs, entertainment, movie theater, everything right there. So you don't have to use a car. Oh, and look at that. Now we have energy savings.
Energy savings. And look, it's almost like a mall, but different.
Yes. We'll have to have a whole nother movie called Mallrats too, or something.
Right.
How many were there?
Right.
Anyway.
So way too many. Too many.
Yes, one was too many. Go ahead.
No sequel here. I promise.
But it's kind of fun though. I mean, they are doing, like in places like California, they're taking really cool office space and turning them into residential.
Yep.
I mean really quirky stuff, it's fun.
They're doing hostels even, believe it or not. Like they are actually trying to displace their homeless by saying, okay, hey, if the corporates aren't using it, can we basically get write-offs from the government maybe to help subsidize new living spaces for, displaced veterans who may not, there's a lot to be done with this space and not just work here.
Yes, I agree. And I tell you, it's gonna rebuild inner cities, I think.
Yes, more community, more closeness, more. Hey, I'd love. The only thing I really want, I want some of the Jersey food to make it here. That would be the best.
Nice.
Some Taylor ham. Hey, I said nothing.
Good. I didn't know Jersey food was such a thing. Just it's a big thing. Okay.
Go to New York. You'll see. I mean, from the pizzas to all that. But hey, I digress. If you want to see more about or hear more about corporate going condo, go to our blog at www.arbitragetrade.com. Thank you again, Darin.
Thanks, Royce.
We all make promises, big and small, tested over time and distance, tried by circumstances and decisions.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I do solemnly swear to bear true faith and allegiance.
To help you when you're in need.
To tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
To be considerate and caring, courageous and strong.
For better.
For worse.
In sickness and in health.
To love and cherish.
To be your loving, faithful friend.
Partner.
Child. Parent.
Neighbor.
One of our most important commitments is to support our nation's veterans. Learn how you can help a veteran going through a difficult time by visiting maketheconnection.net.
Would this be considered a blog or a short story? I'll let you think about that. From the Big Short to the GameStop frenzy to South Korea's regulatory moves, what's the common thread? Each scenario is tied to short selling, which is a strategy that can cause turmoil in the financial markets. Short selling involves borrowing a security and selling it, hoping to repurchase it later at a lower price, thus profiting from the difference. This approach is diametrically opposed to the typical investment strategy of buying low and selling high. Although short selling has been practiced since 1609, it gained notoriety during the stock market crash of 1929 and has recently surged in prevalence. Michael Burry, renowned for his bet against the housing market in 2008, earned $1.6 billion for his hedge fund. However, he also faced significant unrealized losses during the time leading up to the Great Financial Crisis, because the market took longer to collapse than he predicted. The losses were exacerbated by margin loans used to establish short positions, magnifying the impact when the market moved against him. There are signs that this may be happening again now. Not too long ago, stocks with a high short interest, where a large portion is sold short, have seen dramatic price increases due to short squeezes. GME in January 2021 is a case in point, with a short float exceeding 140%, which basically means that more shares were shorted than were available. Retail investors pounced on this vulnerability, buying up GME shares and driving up the price. This forced short sellers to purchase shares to cover their positions and meet margin calls, further inflating the stock price. Naked short selling, which played a role in the GME scenario, is selling shares that one does not own or have borrowed. This practice is why South Korea has prohibited short selling until June of 2024. Korean regulators are imposing the ban to prevent international institutional investors from skewing price discovery. During this hiatus, they aim to refine regulations and probe into the issue of naked short selling. The ban has sparked a rally in Korean indices, buoyed by restored confidence among retail investors. Hey, why don't we do that here? Short selling has been a point of contention in the investment world, with figures like Warren Buffett criticizing it as un-American. Nevertheless, it remains a fundamental aspect of trading. The pivotal question we face is, how much regulation is too much?
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
An internet apocalypse! Are we headed for an apocalypse of the internet kind? Will the sun be the guilty party, as it has ramped up its activity lately and has had a lot of solar flares? These events, called coronal mass ejections, are seen as flashes before they head out in random vectors. Researchers can tell if they are headed our way here on Earth, which allows about a day of warning. Once they arrive, they start impacting the magnetic field. Plasma blobs fly our way and can create something compared to a big electrical circuit. This can create electrical currents from the ground. This kind of solar system event can make our power grids, satellites, fiber optic cables, GPS systems, radio transmitters, and communications equipment vulnerable and affect all that we depend on every day. So, how likely? Well, the last time something like this happened was in 1859. It was named the Carrington event. During this coronal mass ejection event, the magnetic field ran down even telegraph lines, carrying string currents resembling a generator system, ultimately electrocuting some operators. Crazy thing is, those wires were more heavy duty than today's. So if this were to happen today, all the delicate electronics we have would be very susceptible to being fried. Everything could be impacted, including all our tech that we cherish so much, as well as economies. NOAA, or NOAA, has predicted that 2024 will bring the top end of this solar ramp up. What are the odds? Well, according to researchers, only about 10%, but I'm saying there's a chance. So if we get the creation of a magnetic field from a solar storm, the good news is that the steps can be taken in a 24-hour period to minimize the impact. The bad news is that most companies are not readily prepared to take those actions. Thank you for joining us today for another edition of Arbitrage Weekend News. You can always find us at arbitragetrade.com and all social media platforms. Enjoy your weekend. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is a privately held research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the contents of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to function as investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC, please visit arbitragetrade.com.